The first thing Captain Kai heard after becoming the owner of one of the rarest ships in the galaxy was an alarm. A harsh mechanical warning echoed through Horizon's bridge, followed by the flickering of every console that had only begun functioning a few hours earlier. Emergency power reserve depleted. Switching to secondary capacitor bank. Secondary capacitor bank unavailable. Switching to emergency reserve. Emergency reserve at 12%. Kai stared at the dim bridge. Well? Juno stood beside him with folded arms. Congratulations, Captain. Kai looked at her. Thank you? She gestured around the bridge. Your ship is dying. The bridge lights immediately dimmed again, as if trying to prove her point. Commander Hale quietly walked toward one of the cracked consoles. I've served on frontier ships older than this. He rested a hand against the ancient alloy. But none in this condition. The old bridge remained beautiful despite its scars. White architect alloy formed elegant sweeping curves instead of sharp military angles. Golden energy conduits pulsed faintly beneath translucent flooring. Massive panoramic windows stretched across the front of the bridge, revealing the endless sea of stars surrounding Horizon Salvage Yard. Dust floated through quiet air. Several consoles remained completely dark. Others flickered between life and death. Entire sections of the ceiling still exposed ancient wiring. The captain's chair beneath Kai felt solid, steady, comforting, almost as though it had been waiting. Then another warning sounded. Atmospheric recycling reduced. Hydroponic support offline. Internal gravity fluctuating. Juno grabbed the nearest railing. The gravity briefly weakened before stabilizing again. She sighed. Can we go 5 minutes without the ship threatening to kill us? Kai almost smiled. I don't think it knows we're friends yet. The bridge speakers crackled. A calm mechanical voice echoed throughout the vessel. Operational integrity. 18%. Estimated survival without maintenance. 5 days. Juno blinked. 5 days. Commander Hale corrected her. 5 days before cascading failures. He looked around the bridge. Power, life support, structural stabilization. Eventually, one failure causes another. Kai silently watched the holographic status display. He wasn't looking for the biggest problem. He was looking for the first domino. Years of analyzing logistics had taught him one simple truth. Large disasters almost always began with small, neglected systems. The cosmic exchange system quietly unfolded before him. Primary objective updated. Keep Horizon operational. Time remaining until forgotten route expires. 71 hours. Kai frowned. The forgotten colony. The route archive. Everything they had earned. If Horizon could not leave Vera's station within 3 days, the opportunity would disappear. Juno leaned closer. Please, tell me 71 hours isn't important. Kai answered honestly. It probably decides whether Arc 3 becomes very exciting. She stared. What? Kai smiled faintly. Nothing. Administrator Rowan's voice suddenly echoed through the bridge communication system. Captain. Kai touched the communication panel. I'm here. I have good news. Juno grinned. Finally. Rowan continued. And terrible news. Her smile disappeared. Kai wasn't surprised. Let's hear the good news first. The legal transfer completed. Kai nodded. The bad news? You officially own Horizon. Juno covered her face. I knew it. Rowan sighed dramatically. Which means the salvage yard no longer pays for anything. He began reading from a rapidly growing list. Docking fees. Maintenance. Fuel. Insurance. Life support. Supplies. Emergency repairs. Waste recycling. Power consumption. Kai interrupted. How much? A long silence followed. Then Rowan answered quietly. If Horizon were a modern vessel. Another pause. You would already be bankrupt. Juno slowly looked toward Kai, I suddenly missed not owning ships. Kai couldn't argue. He opened Horizon's financial projection. The numbers were brutal. Fuel alone exceeded everything remaining in his account. Replacement reactor cells, navigation, calibration, hull repairs, crew, accommodations, emergency consumables. Everything cost money. Money he did not possess. Commander Hale watched him studying the reports. "You've realized it." Kai nodded. "The trial wasn't the difficult part." Hale smiled. "It almost never is." The old commander looked through the panoramic viewport toward dozens of dock workers, repairing expensive corporate vessels. "Getting a ship is easy. Keeping one alive creates captains." Kai quietly absorbed those words. Suddenly, every display on the bridge briefly flickered. Golden light spread beneath the floor. Not an alarm. Something else. The cosmic exchange system appeared. Authorized infrastructure detected. Architect emergency maintenance unit awaiting activation. Kai looked toward the rear of the bridge. "So it begins." Commander Hale frowned. "What begins?" "The reward." The route fragment emitted a warm golden pulse. A thin line appeared across Horizon's internal schematic. Not toward engineering. Not toward the cargo hold. Toward Deck 7 Tor. Maintenance preservation. Bay. Status. Sealed. Juno looked excited again. "Please be treasure." Kai stood. "I doubt it." The group followed the projected route through Horizon's silent corridors. Walking through the ancient ship felt completely different now. Yesterday they had been trespassers. Today, the doors opened before Kai reached them. Not dramatically. Simply, politely. Soft golden lights illuminated pathways, one section at a time. Inactive maintenance drones quietly watched from wall alcoves. Several gently lowered their sensor arrays as Kai passed. Commander Hale noticed. "They're acknowledging you." Kai shook his head. "They're acknowledging the captain." The distinction mattered. The farther they walked, the cleaner the ship became. Dust gradually disappeared. Walls remained damaged but strangely well preserved. Architect craftsmanship revealed itself beneath centuries of neglect. Elegant white alloy. Golden energy channels. Symbols that resembled flowing roots rather than military insignia. Juno ran one finger across the wall. "No rust." Kai looked carefully. She was right. Damage. Cracks. Scars. But almost no corrosion. As though Horizon refused to decay. Lyra quietly spoke behind them. "Ships reflect the civilization that built them." Everyone looked toward her. "Modern ships are designed to be replaced." She gently touched the ancient wall. Horizon was designed to endure. Nobody argued. Because every step through the vessel supported her observation. Eventually they reached an enormous circular blast door. Unlike every other section aboard Horizon, this door remained completely sealed. No visible controls. Only a small circular recess exactly the size of Kai's root fragment. Kai smiled. "That's convenient." Juno laughed. "I swear the architects love dramatic entrances." Kai placed the root fragment into the recess. Nothing happened. For 3 long seconds. Then the entire ship vibrated. Deep within Horizon, ancient machinery awakened. Massive locking mechanisms disengaged one after another. The enormous blast door slowly separated. Cold, preserved air escaped from inside. Lights illuminated automatically. The chamber beyond had remained untouched for centuries. Rows of preservation pods lined both walls. Ancient maintenance equipment stood exactly where technicians had left it. Half-disassembled repair machinery rested beside unfinished workstations. Everything looked as though workers had simply gone home and never returned. The silence inside the chamber felt sacred. Kai slowly stepped inside. At the center rested a single preservation cradle. White, dotway, gold. Elegant. Inside slept the reward Horizon had promised. A repair drone. Larger than the maintenance drones they had seen before. Its outer shell carried countless scratches. One optical sensor remained dark. Several articulated arms showed obvious damage. It was far from perfect. Yet somehow, it radiated quiet dignity. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Architect Emergency, Repair Unit. Status, Dormant. Activation, Requirements. Captain Authorization. DO. Manual Initialization. Commander Hale slowly exhaled. I have never seen one. Lyra's golden eyes remained fixed on the dormant machine. My family's records describe them. They repaired entire fleets. Juno's face lit up. So it fixes Horizon. Kai shook his head. Not automatically. The system updated again. Initialization. Warning. Captain must determine repair priorities. Resources limited. Every decision permanent. Kai stared at the final sentence. Every decision permanent. The excitement faded. This wasn't a miracle. It was another responsibility. He stepped toward the dormant machine. The repair drone remained motionless, as if patiently waiting. Waiting for someone worthy of giving the first order. Kai slowly raised one hand. His fingertips stopped only centimeters from the ancient white alloy. The dormant optical sensor suddenly flickered once. Then both golden eyes opened together. The repair drone looked directly at its new captain, and the very first question it asked changed everything. Captain. Timor. Its calm mechanical voice echoed softly through the preservation chamber. What shall we save first? What shall we save first? The question echoed through the silent preservation chamber. No dramatic music. No surge of overwhelming power. Only a damaged repair drone patiently waiting for an answer. Kai looked around the chamber. Rows of preservation pods. Ancient engineering. Equipment. Dormant maintenance arms hanging from the ceiling. Every machine had survived centuries. Every machine was still waiting for instructions. Juno slowly walked around the repair drone. So, she gently knocked on its white alloy shell. You're telling me this thing can repair Horizon? The drone answered before Kai could. Correction. Its calm mechanical voice carried neither pride nor emotion. I can optimize restoration. Juno frowned. That sounds suspiciously less impressive. It is more accurate. Commander Hale smiled faintly. I already like it. Kai stepped closer to the preservation cradle. What is your designation? A brief pause. Architect Emergency Repair Unit. Another pause. Designation, unavailable. Memory fragmentation exceeds acceptable limits. The drone slowly lowered its head. Captain may assign a new operational designation. Juno's eyes lit up. We get to name it. The technician looked unexpectedly excited. I've always wanted to name an ancient robot. Commander Hale sighed. This concerns me. Juno immediately pointed toward the drone. Rusty. The drone responded instantly. Request. Denied. Everyone looked at it. You can deny names. Captain Authorization required. Juno folded her arms. I don't like this machine anymore. Kai couldn't help smiling. Even Lyra allowed the corner of her mouth to lift slightly. The atmosphere finally relaxed. Only for a moment. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Architect Emergency Repair Unit ready. Initial restoration budget available. Equivalent restoration capacity. 100 units. Kai studied the projection. 100 units. Not percentages. Not credits. Capacity. Below it appeared the ship schematic. Every major system displayed a required investment. Primary engines. 80 units. Long-range sensors. 40 units. Internal power grid. 30 units. Cargo handling system. 25 units. Life support. 20 units. Structural stabilization, 90 units. Bridge systems, 35 units. Medical bay, 20 units. Hydroponics, 15 units. Hangar operations, 40 units. Kai immediately noticed the problem. Even restoring only the engines would consume almost everything. There was no perfect answer. Exactly as Horizon intended. The drone looked toward Kai. "Captain, please, assign restoration priorities." Commander Hale stepped beside him. "What are you thinking?" Kai didn't answer immediately. He crouched beside the holographic projection. His eyes moved across every system, not searching for the most damaged, searching for the dependency chain. Juno tilted her head. "I know that face." Lyra looked toward her. "What face? The one where he forgets everyone else exists." Kai suddenly pointed. "The power grid." The technician looked surprised. "Not engines?" "No." Commander Hale smiled. "Explain. If the engines fail." Kai touched another projection. "The ship cannot travel." Then he highlighted the internal power network. "But if power fails." He traced branching golden lines across the schematic. "The engines, the sensors, the bridge, the life support, the repair systems. Everything fails." The technician slowly nodded. "The foundation." Kai smiled. "Exactly." The repair drone quietly observed. No comment. No approval. Simply waiting. Kai continued. "How much for internal power?" 30 units. Restore it." Golden light spread across the hologram. 30 units disappeared. Remaining capacity, 70. Far below the bridge, Horizon vibrated softly. For the first time since Kai had boarded the ship, lights remained stable. The bridge lighting no longer flickered. Life support fans began spinning more smoothly. The atmosphere even smelled cleaner. Juno blinked. "I wasn't expecting to notice that immediately." The drone answered. "Stable infrastructure improves all connected systems." Commander Hale quietly laughed. "It really was built for you." Kai looked toward the remaining restoration. Capacity, 70 units. Still not enough. "What next?" The technician immediately answered. "Engines, Juno nodded. "No engines, no adventure." Lyra remained silent. Kai looked toward her. "What would you choose?" She considered the hologram carefully. "Long-range sensors." Everyone looked surprised. She calmly explained. "If we leave Vera Station blind." She pointed toward the Rod archive. "The forgotten route won't matter." Commander Hale slowly nodded. "Reasonable." The technician scratched his head. "I still think engines." Juno raised a finger. "I vote for coffee machine." The drone immediately replied. No coffee machine detected. Juno sighed dramatically. The architects truly failed civilization. Even Commander Hale chuckled. Kai continued studying the ship. Then something caught his attention. The cargo handling system, Diontel. 25 units. He zoomed in. Hundreds of sealed cargo compartments remained inaccessible. Most were empty. Several had unknown contents. One compartment displayed no information whatsoever. Instead, the root fragment pulsed once. A tiny golden symbol appeared beside it. Not an item. Not cargo. A route marker. Kai frowned. "Why is there a route marker inside the cargo bay?" The repair drone answered. "Unknown. Historical records fragmented." Commander Hale stepped closer. "Show compartment designation." The hologram responded. "Cargo. Section 12. Manifest unavailable." Lyra looked thoughtful. Architect ships rarely wasted internal volume. Kai nodded slowly. "If they're preserving something." He looked toward the mysterious compartment. "It probably isn't cargo." The cosmic exchange system updated. Unknown preservation chamber detected. Restoration required for access. Estimated cost, 25 units. Juno looked between Kai and the hologram. That feels suspicious. The technician nodded. Very suspicious. Commander Hale folded his arms. Which usually means valuable. Kai looked back at the remaining systems. Power. Due. 70D. Sensors. 40. Compartment. 25 DAW. He could not afford everything. Every choice closed another door. Exactly the kind of decision Horizon wanted its captain to make. He finally looked toward the repair drone. Restore long-range sensors. The technician looked disappointed. But the engines... Kai nodded. I know. He pointed toward the forgotten route timer floating beside the system interface. We have 71 hours. He then pointed toward the stars beyond Horizon. If another ship finds us before we leave... His finger moved toward the unknown hostile marker preserved in Horizon's records. Engines won't matter. The drone accepted the power. Order. 40 restoration units. Vanished. Remaining capacity. 30. Throughout Horizon, dozens of hidden antenna arrays slowly unfolded. Dust-covered sensor dishes rotated for the first time in centuries. Several observation domes illuminated across the ship. The bridge projection expanded dramatically. Nearby, traffic. Dock, activity. Local debris. Gravitational distortions. Everything became sharper. Then, a new contact appeared. Not inside the station. Outside. Far beyond the salvage yard. The projection enlarged automatically. A dark vessel drifted silently beyond the edge of civilian sensor coverage. No registration. No broadcast. No identification. Commander Hale's face hardened. He never left. Juno looked toward Kai Dao, the unknown hostile. Kai nodded slowly. He was waiting. The projection zoomed again. The dark vessel wasn't watching Horizon's salvage yard. It was watching Horizon, as if patiently observing its newest captain. Then, the unidentified ship slowly turned. Its engines ignited. Not toward the frontier. Not toward open space. Toward the exact direction of the forgotten route. The unknown hostile had made his move. The cosmic exchange system quietly updated. Forgotten route countdown .2. 69 hours remaining. Recommended action. Depart immediately. Kai looked around the bridge. Stable power. Working sensors. Ancient ship. Almost no fuel. Broken engines. Tiny crew. All. Very little money. He smiled. Looks like we're officially behind. Juno laughed. I was wondering when you'd admit it. Commander Hale looked toward the stars. Then, the race begins. Far beyond Vera Station, the unknown hostile's vessel disappeared into hyperspace, leaving only one question hanging over Horizon. Could a ship that barely functioned catch someone who already had a 2-day head start? By sunrise, half of Vera Station already knew Captain Kai owned the strangest ship in the salvage yard. By midday, nobody wanted to work for him. The news spread through the station faster than any official announcement. The captain of Horizon had survived the architect trial. He now possessed an ancient vessel. 3 unidentified warships had appeared because of it. The Continuum had become involved. Unknown forces were watching. To ordinary people, there was only one conclusion. Working for Horizon was dangerous. Kai discovered this the difficult way. The position includes room and board. No. The ship has historical significance. No. There may be opportunities for frontier exploration. No. The work will probably be meaningful. The mechanic, standing across the recruitment desk, laughed. Captain, I'd rather clean reactor waste for pirates. He stood, politely bowed, and walked away. Juno watched him leave. That was the nicest rejection so far. Kai looked at the growing list of declined applicants. Mechanic. Navigator. Medic. Cargo specialist. Communications Officer Dartai. Engineer. Every line now displayed the same result. Declined. 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 Administrator Rowan leaned against the nearby office doorway, with an expression that looked almost sympathetic. I warned you. Kai looked up. You did. Rowan folded his arms. Ships recruit with 3 things: money, reputation, survival. I looked toward Horizon resting inside the salvage dock. You currently offer none of them. Juno raised one finger. We do have charm. Rowan stared at her. No, dying. She lowered her hand. Fair. Kai wasn't discouraged. This wasn't unfamiliar. During his years as a route analyst, he had learned that failed negotiations rarely meant impossible negotiations. It usually meant he had approached the wrong people. The problem wasn't finding workers. It was finding people with something to lose. Or something to gain. He opened the station registry. Instead of searching active employment, he searched retirement records. Juno blinked. Why are we looking at retired people? They're less interested in promotions. Commander Hale smiled quietly. And more interested in purpose. Kai continued filtering. Retired engineers. Independent mechanics. Former transport specialists. Small salvage contractors. People with decades of experience. But nowhere important left to go. Several names appeared. Most lived comfortably. Some had already left Vera. One profile stopped Kai immediately. Mason Reed, former chief maintenance engineer. Age, 68. 39 years maintaining long-range freight vessels. D. Specialized in legacy propulsion systems. Retired 8 years ago. Current occupation. Independent repair consultant. Kai enlarged the record. One detail stood out. Special projects. Architectural Preservation Initiative. Commander Hale noticed. You found something? Kai nodded. He worked on preservation projects. Hale's expression changed. Then he understands old ships. Juno grinned. And hopefully likes impossible jobs. Less than an hour later, Kai found Mason inside one of Vera Station's oldest maintenance workshops. The place looked more like a museum than a business. Disassembled engine cores rested beside obsolete navigation arrays. Ancient mechanical tools hung neatly on every wall. Half-restored cargo drones stood in orderly rows. Nothing modern. Nothing flashy. Only machines that had survived because someone refused to abandon them. An elderly man with broad shoulders and silver hair sat quietly beside an open engine housing. Instead of replacing damaged parts, he was rebuilding them by hand. Kai watched silently for nearly a minute. Mason never looked up. If you're buying, I've already sold it. If you're complaining, I've already heard it. If you're recruiting, I'm retired. Juno whispered. He's efficient. Kai stepped closer. I own Horizon. The workshop became completely silent. Mason slowly stopped working. For the first time, he looked toward Kai. His gray eyes remained fixed. Not on Kai. Past him. Toward the distant dock where Horizon rested. After several long seconds, he quietly stood. You own Horizon? Kai nodded. Without another word, Mason walked past everyone. Juno blinked. Did we offend him? Commander Hale smiled. No, I think he's curious. The 4 of them crossed the dock together. The closer Mason approached Horizon, the slower he walked. He reached out one weathered hand and gently touched the ship's scarred white hull. His fingers followed one elegant golden energy conduit buried beneath the alloy. He smiled. Not because the ship looked impressive, because it looked familiar. I never thought I'd see one again. Kai exchanged a glance with Hale. You've seen architect ships? Mason slowly shook his head. No. Only fragments. He pointed toward Horizon's hull. Look carefully. Juno leaned. Closer. Kai day. Die. I see scratches. Mason laughed softly. No. Tend. He traced a shallow curved seam running along the hull. This isn't armor plating. It's modular infrastructure. Kai immediately understood. The ship wasn't assembled like a warship. It was assembled like a station. Mason smiled broadly. Exactly. He continued, walking around Horizon. The engines aren't isolated. The cargo systems aren't isolated. The power grid isn't isolated. Everything supports everything else. He looked toward Kai. Dawn. This ship wasn't built to win battles. It was built to keep civilizations alive. The words lingered quietly between them. Connection creates civilization. Kai remembered the system message. The philosophy wasn't metaphorical. It had been engineered into the ship itself. Mason gently knocked on the hull again. Whoever built this thought like engineers, not soldiers. Kai finally asked, "Would you help restore her?" Mason didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked beneath Horizon's central engine assembly. Several maintenance panels remained open. He looked inside, then sighed deeply. They've been repairing her like a modern freighter. He sounded genuinely offended. No wonder she's miserable. Juno laughed. She has feelings now. Mason looked perfectly serious. Ships always have feelings. Commander Hale quietly nodded. I've known captains who believe that. They were usually correct. Mason climbed down from the engine housing. I'll join. Juno blinked. Just like that? I've spent 8 years watching people scrap history. He looked toward Horizon again. I'm not letting them ruin this one too. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared before Kai. Crew member recruited. Chief engineer candidate Dore. Compatibility. Soon T. Excellent. Horizon operational efficiency increased. Small golden lights quietly flowed beneath Horizon's hull, almost like the ship itself approved. Juno nudged. Kai Ditwar. One down. Kai smiled faintly. We still need quite a few. Before anyone could continue, footsteps echoed across the dock. Administrator Rowan approached, accompanied by 2 station officers. He didn't look annoyed. He looked confused. I thought you'd appreciate knowing. Kai turned. Knowing what? Rowan handed him a data slate. This morning, 23 independent merchants requested Horizon's future contact information. Juno frowned. Why? They heard about Convoy 17. Kai looked surprised. The convoy we saved. Rowan nodded. They don't care about your ship. They care about your roots. Mason folded his arms. Smart merchants. They know good logistics is rarer than good firepower. Kai studied the list. Small freight captains. Independent traders. Medical transport companies. None of them were wealthy. None of them were powerful. But together, they formed the beginning of something. Trust. Not reputation built on victories. Reputation built on reliability. The foundation of every lasting logistics network. D-CAR. The cosmic exchange system updated once more. Connection growth detected. Merchant confidence increased. Potential trade contracts available. Kai quietly looked toward Horizon. Yesterday, he had owned nothing. Today, he had a damaged ship. A veteran engineer. The first signs of future allies. And a race against time. The ship suddenly emitted a soft mechanical chime. The architect repair unit spoke across the internal communication network. Captain, additional restoration analysis complete. Previously inaccessible compartment identified. Contents categorized as personnel support infrastructure. Mason frowned. Personnel support? The repair drone continued. Recommend immediate inspection. Kai looked toward Deck 14. Another sealed section of Horizon had just awakened. Whatever waited inside. It had been sleeping for centuries. The compartment had no handle. No keypad. No emergency override. Only a smooth white architect alloy door stretched across the corridor, interrupted by a single circular recess that glowed faintly beneath Horizon's restored power grid. Captain Kai stopped in front of it. The ship had already surprised him several times. He had learned one lesson. Whenever Horizon chose to reveal something, it was never random. The architect repair unit stood quietly beside him. Its damaged white shell reflected the corridor lights. One of its repair arms slowly extended toward the sealed door. Personnel support infrastructure confirmed. Estimated inactivity, 327 years. Juno let out a low whistle. I really hope nobody's still inside. The repair drone answered without hesitation. Life signs, none. Juno nodded. Good. Then she frowned. Actually, she looked at Kai Duonochene. That wasn't comforting at all. Commander Hale rested one hand against the wall. Horizon keeps revealing rooms, designed for very specific purposes. Mason slowly examined the door. His experienced eyes traced elegant golden circuits hidden beneath the alloy. This isn't a storage compartment. Kai nodded. I noticed. Mason pointed toward the doorway. The reinforcement, the environmental seals, the independent power. Routing. This section was meant to protect people. Not equipment. People. Lyra quietly spoke from the back of the group. Or preserve them. Silence settled over the corridor. Kai slowly removed the root fragment from his pocket. The golden crystal pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. As soon as it approached the circular recess, the entire corridor awakened. Soft golden pathways illuminated beneath everyone's feet. Hidden ceiling lights activated one after another. Far beyond the corridor, ancient machinery began humming. Not loudly. Almost welcoming. The root fragment floated slightly above Kai's hand. The cosmic exchange system appeared. Captain authorization recognized. Personnel infrastructure, unlock, available. Kai looked at the others. Ready? Juno grinned. No, but... He smiled faintly. Good. He placed the fragment into the recess. The response was immediate. Deep within Horizon, enormous locking mechanisms disengaged. The heavy door slowly separated with surprising grace. No grinding metal. No violent shaking. Only quiet precision. Cold, preserved air drifted into the corridor. Beyond the doorway stretched an enormous circular chamber. Everyone stopped walking. It looked nothing like the industrial sections they had explored before. Warm lighting reflected from polished white alloy floors. Curved living quarters surrounded a central garden. Small trees. Flowing water. Benches. Observation windows overlooking the stars. Private cabins lined the outer ring. Medical facilities occupied one section. A communal dining hall stood opposite. The room felt peaceful. Juno slowly turned in place. This is inside Horizon? Mason looked equally stunned. I've repaired thousands of ships. I've never seen crew quarters like this. Commander Hale quietly smiled. It doesn't feel military. Kai nodded. It feels... He searched for the right word. Civilian. Lyra walked toward the central garden. She gently touched one of the preserved trees. Its leaves remained vibrant, despite centuries of inactivity. Not civilian. She looked around thoughtfully. Community. The distinction mattered. This wasn't designed for soldiers rotating between deployments. It wasn't built for merchants chasing profit. It had been built for people expected to live together. Months. Years. Perhaps decades. Connection creates civilization. The philosophy appeared again. Not spoken. Designed. The architect's civilization had embedded their beliefs into architecture itself. The repair drone slowly entered the chamber. Several hidden maintenance systems immediately activated. Dormant cleaning drones emerged from concealed wall panels. Air circulation increased. Water pumps restarted. Soft lighting brightened naturally. The entire deck responded to the drone's presence. Not because it was powerful. Because it belonged here. Kai walked toward one of the private cabins. The door opened automatically. Inside stood a compact but elegant living space. A bed. A workstation. Bookshelves. Personal storage. Everything remained perfectly preserved. Only dust revealed how much time had passed. Juno leaned against the doorway. I've lived in apartments worse than this. Commander Hale laughed quietly. So have I. Mason examined the engineering section connected to the crew deck. His eyes widened. Captain. Kai joined him. The room contained dozens of workstations surrounding a large holographic engineering table. Maintenance manuals. Component schematics. Ancient diagnostic equipment. Everything organized with astonishing efficiency. Mason slowly shook his head. This isn't maintenance. Kai looked carefully. He understood. It's education. Mason nodded. They trained engineers here. Not just repaired ships. Created engineers. The realization settled heavily over everyone. Horizon wasn't simply a vessel. It had once been a traveling community. A school. A logistics center. A repair platform. A mobile colony. Its purpose had always been larger than transportation. The cosmic exchange system, quietly updated. Personnel infrastructure restored. Crew morale potential increased. Future recruitment success increased. Kai noticed something unusual. No tangible reward. No credits. No new equipment. Instead, an invisible statistic had changed. Recruitment dial. He smiled. The system wasn't rewarding combat. It rewarded sustainability. Exactly like Horizon. Juno wandered into the dining hall. Rows of tables overlooked the stars through enormous panoramic windows. She imagined the room full of conversations. Families. Engineers. Pilots. Children. People laughing after long journeys. The room somehow still remembered them. It's strange. Kai looked toward her. What is? It feels. She hesitated. Lonely. Nobody answered. Because everyone felt it. This ship hadn't been abandoned. It had been left behind. Far beneath the deck, the root fragment pulsed once. The architect repair unit suddenly turned toward the engineering table. Its damaged eye brightened. Hidden archive detected. Kai immediately approached. The holographic engineering table slowly activated. Ancient golden pathways spread across its surface. Stars appeared. Hundreds. Thousands. An enormous navigation network unfolded before them. Much larger than any modern map. Entire regions of space modern civilization considered unexplored. Already contained established routes. Trade corridors. Maintenance stations. Emergency depot. Not civilized. Support fleets. Connection nodes. The galaxy looked completely different. Commander Hale whispered quietly. This can't be real. Lyra's golden eyes never left the map. It is. Mason, slowly, sat down. His hands trembled. We've been navigating only fragments. Kai studied the impossible network. Modern charts. Corporate databases. Military archives. Everything he had ever learned. Represented only a tiny surviving portion of what once existed. Then, almost the entire map went dark. One after another, ancient routes disappeared. Connection nodes vanished. Trade corridors collapsed. Support stations blinked out. The galaxy slowly became fragmented. Isolated. Broken. Entel. Only a handful of golden routes remained. One of them connected directly to Horizon. Another extended toward the forgotten colony. Then a third route briefly flickered. Only for a fraction of a second. Before disappearing again. The architect repair unit suddenly spoke. Its normally calm voice carried something new. Urgency. Warning. Unauthorized route access detected. Everyone froze. Kai immediately enlarged the navigation display. The surviving route, leading toward the forgotten colony, glowed steadily. But far beyond it, another point of light had appeared, moving. Not randomly. Following the same ancient network. Commander Hale's face darkened. The unknown, hostile. Lyra slowly nodded. He found another entrance. The repair drone completed its analysis. Estimated arrival advantage, 36 hours. The chamber fell silent. Kai looked at the ancient map. Then, at Horizon's incomplete systems. Then toward the stars beyond the observation windows. The race had changed. They were no longer chasing a single ship. They were racing across a network the galaxy had forgotten. And someone else already knew how to use it. 36 hours. Nobody in Horizon's newly awakened command room spoke after hearing the estimate. 36 hours. The unknown hostile already possessed nearly half the remaining time. Kai slowly looked away from the ancient star map. The race had changed. It was no longer about finding the forgotten colony. It was about reaching it before someone else did. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Primary objective updated. Reach the forgotten route before the window collapses. Time remaining, 68 hours. Success probability, low. Juno folded her arms. I really hate that word. Kai looked at her. Which one? Low. Commander Hale rubbed his chin. The system isn't wrong. He pointed toward Horizon's engineering report. Power stable, sensors operational. Everything else. He looked around the bridge. Barely qualifies as functional. Mason sighed. The engines are the real problem. He enlarged Horizon's propulsion schematic. The display immediately became a maze of damaged conduits and faded energy channels. The primary engine array can produce thrust. Barely, but sustained hyperspace travel. He shook his head. Would tear half the assembly apart. Juno frowned. So we repair them. Mason laughed. With what parts? Silence. Everyone looked toward the old engineer. He highlighted several damaged components. Modern replacements won't fit. Architect components no longer exist. The few that survived are museum pieces. Kai quietly watched the schematic. Again, he ignored the damage. Instead, he searched for dependencies. Every engine required stable energy. Stable cooling. Balanced thrust. Navigation synchronization. Repairing the engines directly would consume nearly every remaining restoration resource. There had to be another route. His eyes stopped on one forgotten subsystem. Manual vector stabilizers. Status testes. Offline. He enlarged the schematic. Mason looked surprised. I haven't seen anyone examine those in years. What are they? Old mechanical stabilization assemblies. They reduce engine stress. But modern ships replaced them with automated systems centuries ago. Kai looked toward the repair drone. Cost? The drone immediately answered. 12 restoration units. Mason blinked. 12? Kai nodded slowly. If stabilizers reduce engine strain. He highlighted another section. We may not need full engine restoration. Commander Hale smiled. You're treating the symptom instead of rebuilding the organ. Kai shook his head. I'm reducing the load. Mason's eyes gradually widened. Then he laughed. You're an engineer who became a strategist. Kai smiled faintly. I've never repaired ships. No. Mason replied. But you've spent your life keeping them alive. The architect repair unit quietly processed the proposal. Alternative restoration path detected. Probability of partial success. 78%. Resource efficiency increased. Juno pointed dramatically toward Kai. See? He breaks everyone's expectations. Kai looked toward the repair drone. Restore the stabilizers. Golden light spread beneath Horizon's floor. Somewhere deep inside the ship, enormous mechanical assemblies slowly awakened. Heavy locking pins disengaged. Massive flywheels began rotating after centuries of silence. Throughout the ship, vibration became smoother. The bridge itself felt steadier. The repair drone spoke. Engine structural stress reduced. Estimated propulsion improvement. 21%. Mason stared at the projection. That shouldn't work this well. Kai quietly corrected him. It shouldn't. It only works because Horizon wasn't designed like modern ships. Commander Hale looked toward the white alloy walls. The architect. Philosophy again. Everything supports everything. Before anyone could continue, Administrator Rowan suddenly appeared on the bridge communication display. His hair looked even more disorganized than yesterday. "I've got 2 pieces of news." Juno groaned. "Please don't say one is terrible. They're both terrible." She sighed. "Of course." Rowan continued. "First, the unidentified fleet left Vera. Station's outer observation range." Kai nodded. "They're following the ancient network." "Probably." Rowan adjusted another display. "Second, Doitoria. The Frontier Merchant Guild just announced emergency freight auctions." Mason frowned. "What does that have to do with us?" Rowan enlarged the market report. Fuel prices doubled. Everyone became quiet. Kai immediately understood. The unknown hostile. 3 unidentified warships. Station lockdown. Rumors dut. Frontier merchants were reacting. Fear always changed markets. Fear always changed logistics. Kai looked at Horizon's remaining credits. Not enough. Not even close. Juno slowly leaned against the navigation console. "So..." She forced a smile. "We've got a ship, no fuel, no engines, a rival, and a collapsing deadline." Kai looked toward the viewport. "Not quite." She raised an eyebrow. "We also have a market problem." Kai suddenly smiled. The others immediately noticed. Commander Hale spoke first. "You've thought of something." Kai enlarged the freight auction network. Dozens of merchants. Hundreds of cargo requests. Medical deliveries. Mining equipment. Food supplies. Station construction materials. Everything moved through Vera. Except, many destinations were being ignored. He highlighted several routes. "They're short, dangerous, low profit. No large corporation wants them." Mason slowly understood. "You want contracts." Kai nodded. "We need fuel. We don't earn it by asking. We earn it by solving problems." Juno smiled. "That's becoming a habit." Kai pointed toward another route. "Look closer." The cargo requests clustered together geographically. Not random. A pattern. If Horizon combined several neglected contracts into one optimized circuit, fuel costs dropped. Travel efficiency increased. Profit increased. Exactly what large corporations ignored because the contracts were individually too small. Commander Hale quietly laughed. "You found another hidden route." Kai shook his head. "No, I found neglected logistics." The cosmic exchange system pulsed. Logistics opportunity identified. Efficiency chain available. Potential fuel recovery. High I. Potential reputation gain. Moderate. Potential departure delay. 6 hours. Mason looked uncertain. "We lose 6 hours." Kai nodded. "But without fuel." He looked toward Horizon's engines. "We lose the race anyway." No one argued. The bridge suddenly became busy. Juno began contacting merchant representatives. Mason inspected cargo systems. The repair drone recalculated loading capacities. Commander Hale coordinated departure permits with Rowan. For the first time, Horizon wasn't preparing for battle. It was preparing for business. Exactly as its builders intended. Hours later, Kai stood alone on the observation deck overlooking Dock 12. Workers loaded emergency medical supplies into Horizon's cargo bay. Food containers. Industrial components. Replacement reactor filters. None of it glamorous. None of it heroic. Yet every crate brought them closer to their destination. Connection created civilization. One shipment at a time. A quiet voice came from behind him. Lyra? ... You could have chased your rival immediately. Kai didn't turn. I know. You chose cargo. I chose fuel. She stood beside him, watching workers move through the docks. The unknown hostile would never make that decision. Kai looked toward the stars. That's why he may reach the colony first. Lyra remained silent. Then she quietly added, or why you might deserve to reach it. Neither of them noticed the tiny maintenance drone resting high above the docking bay. Its golden eye remained fixed on horizon. Then, without warning, its eye flashed crimson. Just once, before returning to gold. Far beyond Vera Station aboard the unknown hostile's dark vessel, a small holographic notification quietly appeared. Horizon departure preparations confirmed. The armored figure looked at the report. Then, toward the ancient route, stretching across the stars. He slowly deactivated the display. Good. If he's taking cargo, then he'll arrive exactly where I need him. Outside the viewport, the forgotten route shimmered faintly across the darkness, like a road leading both captains toward the same inevitable destination. The first time Horizon left its dock, the engines failed. The ancient vessel had barely cleared the magnetic docking clamps when every light across the bridge flashed crimson. Propulsion synchronization lost. Dead. Primary engine imbalance detected. Automatic thrust reduction initiated. The entire ship lurched violently to port. Juno grabbed the flight controls. I've got it. Mason slammed one hand against the engineering console. No, you don't. The stabilizers are fighting each other. Commander Hale braced himself against the navigation table. We're drifting toward Dock 9. Outside the panoramic viewport, dozens of dock workers looked up in alarm as Horizon slowly rotated sideways through the narrow departure corridor. Cargo containers floated past only meters away. Emergency tug drones immediately launched from nearby maintenance platforms. Dalshores. Kai didn't move. His eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. The engines weren't failing. They were arguing. The architect repair unit had warned them. Modern repairs. Ancient systems. Partial restoration. Nothing aboard Horizon was fully synchronized yet. The ship wasn't refusing to fly. It simply hadn't remembered how. Administrator Rowan's voice exploded across the communication channel. Captain, I'd appreciate it if your first official departure didn't destroy my station. Juno gritted her teeth. I'm trying. Kai finally spoke. Reduce thrust. Juno looked at him in disbelief. We're already losing control. I know. If you increase power. He pointed toward the engine telemetry. The imbalance grows. She hesitated only a second before obeying. Engine output dropped. The violent shaking immediately became smoother. Not fixed. Predictable. Mason stared at the readings. How? Kai enlarged another projection. The left engine isn't weak. It's responding faster. He highlighted the opposite side. The right engine is compensating for a problem that no longer exists. Commander Hale understood first. They're using different assumptions. Kai nodded. They're operating with different maps. The realization spread through the bridge. The engines had been repaired at different times, with different calibration standards. Neither side was broken. They simply disagreed. Kai looked toward the architect repair unit. Can you force synchronization? The drone answered immediately. Negative. Automatic synchronization risks catastrophic resonance. Mason muttered under his breath. Oh, of course it does. Kai smiled. Faintly. Manual synchronization? The drone paused. Possible. Estimated completion. 7 minutes. Juno looked outside. We don't have 7 minutes. The drifting ship continued sliding dangerously close to the station's docking structures. Dock 9 Taro. Dock 10. Cargo traffic had already begun rerouting around them. The entire departure corridor was becoming congested. Kai looked beyond horizon. Not at the ship. At the traffic. A route analyst never looked only at one vehicle. He looked at every vehicle, every movement, every possibility. The station map unfolded before him. 26 active departures. 8 incoming freighters. 4 maintenance tugs. 2 emergency rescue craft. Dozens of civilian shuttles. Everyone was trying to avoid horizon. Which meant everyone was creating new congestion. Kai's eyes sharpened. Rowan, I'm here. I need temporary traffic authority. The administrator laughed. You've been a captain for less than a day. I know. I still need it. Silence. Then Rowan sighed. I don't know why I keep saying yes. Control authority transferred. The station traffic display expanded. Kai immediately began moving ships. Cargo Shuttle 12. Delay, departure. Mining Freighter Orion. Advance docking by 3 minutes. Maintenance Tug 5. Rotate clockwise. Emergency Tug 2. Hold position. Juno looked at him. You're directing the entire station. I'm directing the route. The distinction mattered. Within seconds, congestion dissolved. Instead of fighting Horizon's uncontrolled drift, Kai gave the ship room to drift safely. Commander Hale laughed quietly. You just solved an engine failure, using traffic management. Kai answered calmly. I solved a collision. The engine problem still remained. 7 minutes. The Architect repair unit extended multiple repair arms into the engine network. Golden diagnostic lights spread beneath Horizon's deck. Mason hurried toward engineering. I'm going. Kai nodded. Take Lyra. She looked surprised. Me? You noticed the calibration philosophy before anyone else. Lyra didn't argue. She simply followed Mason out of the bridge. Minutes passed. The ship continued drifting gracefully through the widened departure corridor. Not elegant. Not efficient. Safe. Outside the viewport, station workers gradually relaxed. Some even stopped to watch. The legendary Architect vessel. The impossible trial winner. The strangest Captain Vera station had seen in decades. Barely able to fly. Juno couldn't help laughing. This is probably ruining your reputation. Kai shook his head. No, we're leaving. She looked confused. That's enough. A calm mechanical voice echoed across the bridge. Synchronization complete. Engine calibration updated. Structural resonance reduced. Primary propulsion available. Mason's voice followed over the internal communication system. I have good news. Juno smiled. I've been waiting for that. The engines won't explode. Her smile grew. Bad news? They'll sound like they want to. Before anyone could answer, Horizon gently vibrated. A low mechanical hum spread throughout the vessel. Not strained. Not unstable. Confident. Hill. Outside, the massive engine array slowly brightened. Soft golden energy flowed through pathways that had slept for centuries. The damaged ship straightened. Its nose pointed toward open space. Juno slowly advanced the thrust controls. This time, Horizon obeyed. The ancient vessel glided forward with surprising grace, clearing the last station boundary. Cheers erupted from several nearby maintenance platforms. Workers waved. Merchant crews sounded their ship horns. Administrator Rowan's voice returned. I suppose congratulations are appropriate. Kai looked back through the viewport. Vera Station slowly shrank behind them. His first home in the frontier. The place where he had owned nothing. Then, everything. Commander Hale quietly approached. There's something symbolic about this. Kai looked toward him. What? The station isn't protecting you anymore. He pointed toward the stars ahead. Out there. Every decision belongs to you. The bridges became quiet. Ahead stretched open space. Behind lay civilization. Between them, only roots. The cosmic exchange system appeared. Objective updated. Depart Vera Station. Tau. Completed. Reward. Navigation authority increased. Route archive synchronization improved. The ancient star map expanded. The forgotten route glowed brighter than before. A thin golden line stretched into unexplored space. Not the fastest path. Not the safest. The intended path. Juno stared at the projection. It almost feels like the ship knows where it's going. The Architect Repair Unit answered softly. Horizon remembers. Nobody spoke after hearing those words. Because somehow, they all believed it. Hours later, Horizon crossed the outer boundary of the Vera system. The stars ahead distorted gently as the ship prepared for its first hyperspace transition in centuries. Mason watched engine temperatures. Everything looked stable. Commander Hale monitored external space. No pursuit. Juno rested both hands on the flight controls. I never thought I'd say this. She smiled. But I think the old girl, actually, wants to fly. Kai stood silently before the panoramic viewport. The forgotten route shimmered faintly ahead. The route fragment pulsed warmly in his pocket. Then, every display aboard Horizon suddenly changed. The familiar modern navigation grid disappeared. Replacing it was an ancient golden route network that none of them had activated. The ship had done it by itself. The Architect Repair Unit's normally calm voice carried unmistakable surprise. Captain, Horizon has rejected modern navigation. It is attempting to navigate using its original route protocols. Outside the ship, empty space rippled. A narrow corridor of golden light slowly unfolded across the stars. No modern sensor had detected it. No contemporary chart recorded it. It had been hidden in plain sight for centuries. And Horizon had just remembered where it was. The stars disappeared. Not because Horizon entered hyperspace. Because space itself unfolded. Outside the panoramic viewport, countless ribbons of golden light stretched across the darkness, weaving together like rivers flowing through an invisible galaxy. Every strand pulsed gently. Every intersection glowed with quiet purpose. Every route connected to another. No explosions. No violent transition. Only an overwhelming feeling that the universe had just revealed something it had hidden for centuries. Juno stared speechless. She blinked several times. Is this hyperspace? The Architect Repair Unit answered immediately. Negative. Commander Hale frowned. Then where are we? The drone remained silent for several seconds before replying. Original Architect Navigation Layer. No one on the bridge understood what that meant. Kai stepped closer to the viewport. Modern navigation charts showed empty space. Horizon showed an ocean of interconnected pathways. One universe. Two completely different maps. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Hidden route network synchronized. Navigation compatibility increased. Route recognition. 8%. Kai's eyes narrowed. Only 8%. Which meant what they were seeing was still incomplete. Mason slowly circled the bridge, staring from one console to another. Every sensor aboard Horizon is reading different values. He enlarged a diagnostic panel. Our modern scanners say there's nothing outside. He pointed toward the viewport. But Horizon insists we're surrounded by infrastructure. Lyra quietly approached the window. It isn't showing us what's there. She lightly touched the glass. It's showing us what used to connect. Kai looked toward her. The difference? The roads remain. The travelers disappeared. Silence filled the bridge again. That single sentence somehow made everything feel lonelier. Connection creates civilization. The civilization had vanished. Its connections had not. Suddenly, Horizon emitted a gentle chime. One nearby golden route brightened. The bridge hologram expanded automatically. Unknown waypoint detected. Distance 0.4 light hours. Status inactive. Mason frowned. What's a waypoint? The repair drone answered. Historical support, infrastructure. Commander Hale folded his arms. Military outpost? Negative. Trade checkpoint? Negative. The drone paused, then answered with a word no one expected. Service station. Juno blinked. Aye. She laughed. Space gas station? The drone tilted its head. Approximation acceptable. Everyone looked back toward the glowing route. Kai enlarged the surrounding map. The waypoint wasn't on the direct path toward the Forgotten Colony. It required a short detour. Only 18 minutes. Commander Hale immediately spoke. We don't have time. Mason nodded. The rival already has a lead. Juno crossed her arms. So we ignore it. Kai remained silent. He wasn't looking at the waypoint. He was looking at the routes connected to it. 3 separate paths converged there. Not because it was close. Because it was useful. His years as an interstellar route analyst immediately recognized the pattern. Every major logistics network relied on support nodes. Fuel.adine. Repairs. Information. Rest. Dot. A civilization didn't build intersections without purpose. The larger the intersection, the more valuable the node. Kai looked toward the drone. What services? The drone responded. Data unavailable. Memory fragmentation. Commander Hale sighed. That's not helpful. Kai smiled faintly. It is. Everyone looked at him. If Horizon can't remember, he pointed toward the glowing waypoint, then neither can anyone else. Juno's eyes widened. So, we're the first. Maybe. Or... Kai looked toward the unknown hostiles' projected route. Someone else already knows. The bridge became quiet. The decision carried obvious risk. 18 minutes. If the waypoint offered nothing, they would lose valuable time. If it offered resources, everything could change. The cosmic exchange system pulsed once. Optional opportunity detected. Risk. Moderate. Potential reward. Unknown. No recommendation appeared. Kai appreciated that. The system wasn't making the decision. It was forcing him to. Commander Hale quietly smiled. I know that expression. Kai looked toward him. You've already decided. I have. He turned toward Juno. Alter course. She hesitated. We're taking the detour. Yes. She grinned. I was hoping you'd say that. Horizon gently rotated. Instead of following the straight route, the ancient vessel drifted onto the smaller golden pathway. Immediately, something changed. The route itself responded. Golden symbols illuminated beneath Horizon's hull, like stepping onto an ancient road that still recognized authorized travelers. The ship accelerated smoothly, not using additional engine power. The route itself seemed to carry them. Mason stared at the engine readings. We're accelerating, but the engines, he checked again, aren't producing additional thrust. Commander Hale looked outside. The road is moving us. Nobody knew how to answer that. 18 minutes passed faster than expected. Then, the waypoint appeared. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary asteroid. Dark, needy, silent, dead-on, forgotten. Then Horizon transmitted an ancient identification signal. The asteroid awakened. Massive sections of rock slowly separated. Ancient white architect alloy emerged beneath centuries of accumulated debris. Hidden docking arms unfolded. Golden lights illuminated one after another. An entire station slowly revealed itself. Not destroyed. Sleeping. Juno whispered, "We found it." The repair drone corrected her. It found us. The station dwarfed Horizon despite being only partially exposed. Elegant circular structures rotated slowly around a central tower. Docking rings, repair bays, observation platforms. Everything remained remarkably intact. The central gateway displayed a single glowing architect symbol. One Kai had never seen before. The Cosmic Exchange System, updated. First contact. Architect service node. Designation. Unavailable. Synchronization required. Reward available upon activation. Mason slowly laughed in disbelief. We just found a 300-year-old service station. Commander Hale shook his head. No. Das. He looked carefully at the massive structure. We found proof. Kai understood immediately. Proof of what? That the architect civilization wasn't a legend. The bridge suddenly became quiet again. Not because of fear. Because of realization. This wasn't ancient history anymore. It was physical. Reachable. Real. Q. As Horizon slowly approached the dormant station, dozens of external sensors suddenly activated by themselves. Not aiming at Horizon. Scanning something behind it. The repair drone immediately spoke. Warning. Long-range contact detected. Everyone turned toward the tactical display. A ship. Small. Fast. Not the unknown hostile. Not military. Not civilian. Its transponder remained completely silent. It emerged from another hidden golden route. And stopped. Watching the station. Watching Horizon. As if someone else had been searching for the same forgotten places all along. The unidentified ship did not fire. It did not transmit. It did not retreat. It simply waited. Silent. Dotty. Motionless. Watching Horizon from the far side of the ancient service station. The bridge fell completely quiet. Juno leaned closer to the tactical display. Pirates? Commander Hale slowly shook his head. No pirate waits this patiently. Mason enlarged the sensor feed. The hull configuration is strange. The silhouette looked unlike any civilian freighter. Unlike any military corvette. The vessel was sleek, but practical, with modular cargo sections built around an unusually compact central hull. It looked fast. Built to travel rather than fight. Several external components appeared to have been replaced repeatedly over decades. Whoever owned it repaired, instead of replacing. Kai studied its position. Not its weapons. Not its size. Its position. The ship wasn't pointing toward Horizon. It wasn't pointing toward the station. It sat precisely between two hidden architect routes. An observation point. A crossroads. Someone who understood logistics. The Cosmic Exchange System quietly updated. Unknown contact. Behavior classification. Observer. Datum. Threat assessment. Undetermined. Kai folded his arms. They're evaluating us. Juno frowned. Should we evaluate them back? Commander Hale smiled. We already are. The unknown vessel finally moved. Not aggressively. It drifted sideways, exposing its starboard side. Mason looked confused. Why would they? Then he stopped. Kai smiled. They're showing us. Juno looked between them. Showing what? Their weapon mounts. Commander Hale nodded. Or the lack of them. The tactical scan confirmed it. Minimal offensive systems. Heavy sensor arrays. Extended communications equipment. Reinforced cargo architecture. Not a warship. An explorer. Or a merchant. Or something between the two. Kai slowly activated Horizon's external communications system. This is Captain Kai of Horizon. We acknowledge your presence. We have no hostile intentions. Several seconds passed. Nothing. Then, a narrowband transmission arrived. Old, dunhy, and compressed. Almost obsolete. The station speakers crackled before a woman's calm voice filled the bridge. So, you really woke her up. Everyone exchanged glances. Her. Not it. She knew Horizon. Kai answered carefully. Do we know each other? A soft laugh came through the channel. No, but I've spent 10 years trying to find the ship you're standing on. The bridge became silent again. Juno mouthed silently. 10 years? Kai kept his voice steady. Who are you? Another pause. My name is Mira. I recover lost roots. Mason immediately looked toward Kai. Root hunter. Commander Hale corrected him. No, cartographer. The distinction mattered. Modern cartographers mapped stars. This woman hunted forgotten connections. Kai slowly smiled. We may have similar professions, so I've heard. Her answer came immediately. The analyst who predicted the Lumaris drift ambush. Juno whispered. Word travels fast. Kai didn't look away from the display. You're well informed. I have to be. My business depends on it. The unidentified ship slowly approached. Still outside weapon range. Still cautious. The bridge sensors finally captured clearer imagery. Its hull carried countless repair marks. Unlike Horizon's elegant architect design, this vessel looked assembled from dozens of different generations of technology. Every modification solved a specific problem. Nothing decorative. Everything earned. Mason quietly admired it. That's a frontier ship. Kai nodded. Built by experience. Mira spoke again. I'll save us both time. I know why you're here. Commander Hale narrowed his eyes. The service note. She surprised everyone. Forgotten colony. Silence. Only the gentle hum of Horizon filled the bridge. Kai's expression remained calm. You assume a great deal. No. One. I recognize the route. She transmitted a holographic map. Ancient. Fragmented. Incomplete. Yet unmistakably similar to Horizon's. Only, most of it was missing. Mason leaned forward. She has part of the network. The architect repair unit processed the transmission. Compatibility. 32%. Incomplete route archive, confirmed. Kai immediately understood. She wasn't following Horizon. She had been following fragments. For years. Until Horizon awakened the complete pathway. Mira's voice softened. I've spent half my life chasing ghosts. Every forgotten station. Every abandoned gateway. Every impossible rumor. I always arrived too late. She paused. Then your ship appeared. Juno smiled. I like her. Commander. Hale remained cautious. I don't. Kai asked the obvious question. What do you want? The answer came without hesitation. An exchange. The cosmic exchange system pulsed unexpectedly. Potential exchange opportunity detected. Kai raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Mira continued. I know routes modern governments forgot. You have access to routes nobody remembers. I have frontier contacts. You have an architect ship. We can help each other. Commander Hale stepped beside Kai. Or, she learns everything we know. Kai nodded slightly. Exactly. Trust had to be earned, not assumed. The bridge remained quiet while everyone considered the proposal. Then, Mason suddenly pointed toward the service station. Captain, the station. The massive architect structure had begun changing. Golden lights spread throughout its outer ring. Docking arms slowly rotated. Energy surged through ancient conduits. The station wasn't responding to Mira. It wasn't responding to Horizon. It was responding to both. The architect repair unit spoke. Multiple authorized route holders detected. Synchronization protocol initiated. Kai frowned. What does that mean? The drone answered. Unknown. Memory unavailable. The station's central tower slowly opened. An enormous circular chamber emerged from within. Not a weapon. Not a docking bay. A projection system. Golden light erupted into space. An immense holographic route network appeared between Horizon and Mira's ship. Dozens of ancient pathways illuminated simultaneously. Most had never appeared on Horizon's map. Mira's normally calm voice finally betrayed genuine surprise. "I've never seen that before." Neither had Kai. The Cosmic Exchange System updated again. Collaborative Discovery Event. Ancient Route Synchronization available. Requirements: multiple authorized navigators. Commander Hale slowly exhaled. "The station wants both of you." Kai looked toward the projection, then toward Mira's ship. Whatever this synchronization revealed, neither of them could unlock it alone. Before he could answer, every light across the projection suddenly flickered. One by one, ancient routes began turning red. The Architect Repair Unit's voice became sharper than anyone had heard before. "Emergency! Unauthorized network intrusion detected." The immense route map trembled. Somewhere, far beyond the frontier, someone else had just touched the Architect network. Every golden route turned red. Not all at once, one after another, like a spreading infection moving across a living network. The enormous holographic projection suspended between Horizon and the ancient service station flickered violently. Dozens of illuminated pathways dimmed. Several vanished entirely. The Architect Repair Unit froze. Its golden optical sensors pulsed rapidly. Network integrity compromised. Foreign synchronization detected. Unable to identify source. Kai's attention immediately shifted. Not to the red routes, to the ones that remained gold. A logistics network under attack still revealed valuable information. The surviving routes were the important ones. Commander Hale noticed the direction of Kai's gaze. "You're mapping the damage." Kai nodded. "Every interruption tells us something." Mira's ship slowly maneuvered closer, still maintaining a respectful distance. Her calm voice returned over the communication channel. "This has never happened before." Kai answered honestly. "It hasn't happened to us either." The projection continued changing. Several red routes suddenly stabilized. Others collapsed completely. The pattern wasn't random. Kai enlarged the map. "Did he soast?" Juno leaned closer. "You found something." He highlighted 3 surviving junctions. "They're avoiding these intersections." Mason frowned. "Why?" Kai traced several connections with his finger. If someone wanted to destroy a logistics network, he looked toward everyone. Would they destroy every road? Commander Hale immediately understood. "No. You destroy the choke points." Kai smiled. "Exactly." The unknown intruder wasn't attacking blindly. Whoever it was understood logistics. They weren't trying to erase the network. They were isolating sections of it. Connection creates civilization. Isolation destroyed it. The realization settled heavily over the bridge. Lyra quietly whispered, "They're reversing the Architect philosophy." Nobody answered, because she was right. The Cosmic Exchange System quietly appeared. Strategic observation recorded. Network analysis complete. Additional route recognition. Plus 2%. Current recognition. 10%. Tidoi. Kai almost laughed. Even under attack, the system rewarded understanding, not victory. Understanding. The service station suddenly emitted a deep resonant tone. Throughout the enormous structure, thousands of dormant mechanisms slowly awakened. Massive circular antennas rotated toward the stars. Communication arrays unfolded. Ancient data cores illuminated one after another. The station wasn't defending itself. It was broadcasting. The Architect Repair Unit immediately translated. Emergency synchronization beacon Dordia. Mira sounded surprised. It called for help. Dotto. Commander Hale folded his arms. 300 years too late. The drone tilted its head. Transmission still. Active. Everyone looked toward the projection. The beacon wasn't traveling through normal space. It spread along the golden routes themselves, like information flowing through invisible roads. Kai suddenly froze. Wait. No. Juno looked toward him. What? The roots. He enlarged the transmission. It isn't broadcasting everywhere. Mason stared. It can't. Kai shook his head. No, it doesn't need to. He highlighted several junctions. It's choosing. Commander Hale slowly smiled. Priority routing. Kai nodded. Exactly. Even an emergency signal followed optimized logistics. The architect civilization had built information networks exactly like cargo networks. No wasted movement. No unnecessary transmission. Every signal traveled with purpose. Mira laughed softly over the communication channel. I've spent 10 years studying forgotten routes, and I never realized. Kai finished the sentence. They were thinking like supply chains. She smiled. I was going to say roads, but yours is better. John. The station suddenly responded again. A new holographic interface emerged from the central tower. Not a map, a directory. Hundreds of faded entries appeared. Maintenance node. Gosh. Supply depot. Emergency harbor. Civilian habitat dot. Medical relay. Agricultural platform. Engineering academy. Gateway. Calibration facility. Juno stared. This wasn't just transportation. Kai quietly nodded. It was civilization. Every listing represented people, communities, trade, medicine, education. The routes hadn't connected planets. They had connected lives. Then, almost every directory entry vanished. Only 5 remained illuminated. The others faded into darkness. Mason quietly counted them. 5. The repair drone confirmed. 5 operational facilities remained connected. Commander Hale slowly exhaled. Out of thousands. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. Not because of the loss. Because they could finally measure it. The collapse of the architect's civilization wasn't abstract anymore. It was visible. Thousands of connections reduced to 5. The unknown hostile suddenly crossed Kai's thoughts. He had reached another entrance. He understood the routes. What if he wasn't searching for the colony? What if he was searching for the remaining 5? The thought disappeared as quickly as it arrived. No assumptions. Only evidence. That principle had kept Kai alive. Suddenly, the station's central interface changed again. One of the 5 surviving facilities pulsed brightly. Designation restored. Gateway maintenance. Nexus. Distance. 3 route transitions. Status. Emergency lockdown. Hot. Synchronization level. 31%. Mira's voice immediately sharpened. I've never seen that location. Kai looked toward the projection. Neither had Horizon. The root fragment inside his pocket became warm. The cosmic exchange system updated. Secondary objective available. Restore gateway maintenance nexus. Reward. Unknown. Failure consequence. Unknown. Juno looked between Kai and the projection. I don't like objectives with unknown consequences. Mason laughed. I don't think the galaxy cares. Before anyone could discuss the new destination, the entire service station suddenly went dark. Every projection disappeared. Every route vanished. Only emergency lighting remained. Commander Hale immediately looked outside. What happened? The architect repair unit processed dozens of reports simultaneously. Then answered. Synchronization terminated. External authorization revoked. Kai frowned. Revoked by whom? The drone remained silent. Not because it refused to answer. Because it genuinely did not know. Then Horizon's sensors detected something. Not approaching. Leaving. The silent crimson-marked contact that had been lurking beyond the service station quietly turned away. Without transmitting another word. Without firing a single shot. It accelerated onto another hidden golden route. Before disappearing, It transmitted exactly one compressed data packet toward Horizon. No message. No greeting. Only coordinates. Commander Hale looked toward Kai. Trap? Kai enlarged the coordinates. His eyes narrowed. No, Joanne. He looked back toward the disappearing ship. I think someone just warned us. The coordinates pointed toward a region of the ancient network that did not exist on any modern star chart. And at its center, one unmistakable designation glowed faintly. Gateway Maintenance, Nexus. The coordinates arrived without a signature. No name. No faction. No demand. Only a destination. Kai stared at the glowing marker suspended above Horizon's navigation table. Gateway Maintenance, Nexus. Distance. 3 architect route transitions. Commander Hale broke the silence first. Nobody gives information away for free. Juno nodded. Especially not mysterious strangers. Mason enlarged the transmitted data. There isn't any malware. No tracking code. No hidden payload. He frowned. Whoever sent this wanted only one thing. Kai looked toward the fading route where the silent vessel had disappeared. For us to find it. Lyra quietly asked. The question is why? Nobody answered. Because there wasn't enough information yet. Kai refused to build theories without evidence. The bridge suddenly chimed. The architect repair unit completed verification. Coordinates authentic. Origin. Ancient Architect Navigation Protocol, Doring. Commander Hale slowly folded his arms. They somehow possess architect transmission technology. Mason corrected him. Ors. Recovered it. There is a difference. Kai nodded. The difference mattered. Recovered technology meant scavengers. Original technology suggested something else entirely. He stored the question away. Another mystery. Another piece waiting for context. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Decision required. Accept route, guidance. Or continue original mission. No recommendation. Kai smiled. Again. The system refused to choose for him. Exactly as it always had. Juno looked between the 2 highlighted routes. The Forgotten Colony. The Maintenance Nexus. We can't do both. Kai quietly zoomed out. Maybe we don't have to. He began tracing every available connection. Modern charts. Architect. Charts, debts. Known pirate territory. Fuel consumption. Dara. Estimated travel times. Supply requirements. The bridge became completely silent. Everyone watched him work. Not because he was a genius. Because this was what Kai actually did. Information became routes. Routes became decisions. Several minutes later he finally stopped. Commander Hale noticed it immediately. You found an overlap. Kai nodded. The maintenance nexus isn't a detour. He highlighted an intersection. It sits on the only stable logistics corridor leading toward the Forgotten Colony. Mason leaned forward. So, if we ignore it, Kai finished. We'll probably regret it later. The decision became obvious. Juno smiled. I was hoping we'd say yes. Kai looked toward the crew. Course change. Horizon will visit the maintenance nexus first. The bridge acknowledged simultaneously. Commander Hale returned to tactical operations. Juno updated navigation. Mason monitored engine load. The repair drone synchronized the ancient route. Data. Toy. For the first time, Horizon wasn't wandering. She had a destination. Outside the panoramic viewport, the hidden golden route brightened. The ship gently accelerated. Not violently. Almost gracefully. As though the ancient pathway welcomed one of its own. Hours passed. The hidden network remained astonishingly stable. Modern hyperspace required constant correction. Constant recalculation. Architect routes felt different. The pathway itself absorbed minor navigational errors. Kai quietly observed every fluctuation, every stabilization field, every gravitational correction. The more he watched, the more impossible the network became. Civilizations had spent thousands of years trying to make space travel safer. The architects had apparently solved the problem centuries ago. Juno suddenly laughed. I finally understand why nobody remembers this. Kai looked toward her. Why? Because if this still existed, she gestured toward the Golden Corridor, modern shipping companies would go bankrupt. Commander Hale smiled. Governments too, Mason quietly added, and pirates. Everyone looked toward him. He pointed ahead. Ambushing people becomes difficult when the road itself protects travelers. Kai made another mental note. The architect's civilization hadn't simply connected worlds. It had engineered trust into transportation. That alone explained why its collapse had shattered civilization. A warning tone interrupted the quiet discussion. Long-range sensors detected movement. Not ahead. Behind. Commander Hale enlarged the display. 3 small contacts. Fast. Dot. Lightly armed. Maintaining extreme distance. Juno frowned. They're following us. Mason checked the signatures. Civilian engines. Modified. Definitely frontier vessels. Commander Hale quietly muttered. Scouts. Kai observed their formation. Not military. Too loose. Not merchants. Too cautious. Then he noticed something else. They're not tracking horizon. Everyone looked at him. They're tracking the road. Commander Hale immediately understood. They can't see the whole corridor. Kai nodded. They're following our wake. Donde. Realization changed everything. The hidden routes remained hidden. Unless someone else revealed them by traveling through them. Juno slowly looked toward Kai. So every time we move, we leave footprints. Kai answered calmly. Exactly. The cosmic exchange system updated. Architect, route usage detected. Residual energy trail. Temporary. Duration. 23 minutes. Mason sighed. So much for being invisible. Kai wasn't discouraged. Nothing was ever perfect. The question wasn't whether information leaked. It was how quickly opponents could use it. He enlarged the route network. 3 pursuing ships. 1 narrow corridor. 1 inevitable choke point. Commander Hale slowly smiled. I know that expression. Kai marked a point several million kilometers ahead. The corridor narrows here. The energy wake will naturally disperse. Juno caught on immediately. If we change speed. Kai nodded. Our trail changes. Mason grinned. And they won't know which branch we took. Commander Hale laughed quietly. You just hit a starship, using traffic flow. Kai shrugged. I redirected information. 20 minutes later, Horizon smoothly reduced speed before entering the natural choke point. The golden route divided into 3 nearly identical branches. The ship drifted briefly, then accelerated along 1 corridor. Behind them, the fading energy trail continued into all 3 branches. The pursuing vessels reached the junction several minutes later. They stopped, separated. Then each selected a different path. Without firing a shot, without a single battle, Kai had scattered the pursuit. Juno leaned back with a satisfied smile. I could get used to winning like this. Commander Hale nodded approvingly. Good captains destroy fleets. He looked toward Kai. Great captains make them irrelevant. The bridge relaxed for the first time since leaving Verita. Only briefly. The architect repair unit suddenly turned toward the forward viewport. Its optical sensors brightened. Captain, destination approaching. Far ahead, the golden corridor slowly widened. Not into open space. Into an enormous circular structure suspended between 2 dying stars. Unlike the peaceful service station, this place looked built for work. Immense docking arms stretched across thousands of kilometers. Gigantic maintenance rings surrounded a silent central gateway. Countless repair platforms floated motionless around it. The entire structure dwarfed Horizon until the ancient ship seemed like a single spark approaching a sleeping giant. Mason whispered in genuine awe. "How many ships could this place repair?" The repair drone answered softly. "Unknown." Then, for the first time since awakening, its voice became almost reverent. "But many." As Horizon crossed the outer boundary of the maintenance nexus, every dormant light across the colossal station ignited at once. The entire megastructure awakened. Not because Horizon had arrived. Because it had recognized its captain. The station recognized Horizon. But it did not recognize Captain Kai. The distinction became obvious immediately. As the colossal gateway maintenance nexus awakened, thousands of golden lights illuminated across its immense framework. Docking arms unfolded. Repair platforms rotated into position. Ancient transport rails hummed back to life. Then, everything stopped. The station froze halfway through its activation sequence. The bridge lights flickered. The Architect repair unit stood motionless. Its optical sensors rapidly processed information. Identity verification incomplete. Kai frowned. "What does that mean?" The drone remained silent for several moments. Then a new holographic interface unfolded above the bridge. Architect Maintenance Authority required. Recognized vessel. Confirmed. Recognized captain. Pending. Commander Hale slowly folded his arms. "So the ship is trusted, but you aren't." Kai nodded. "Reasonable." Juno looked at him. "Reasonable. You've owned Horizon for 2 days." She sighed. "When you put it like that." The maintenance nexus projected another series of symbols. Not language. Patterns. The root fragment inside Kai's pocket suddenly became warm. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Gateway synchronization. Trial initiated. Objective. Demonstrate maintenance authority. Reward. Maintenance nexus access. Failure. Access denied. Mason scratched his head. I thought we already passed a trial." The Architect repair unit quietly answered. "Captain passed Horizon's trial. This facility requires independent authorization." Commander Hale smiled. "I like these architects. They never trusted one success." Kai stepped toward the bridge interface. The projection changed immediately. Instead of asking questions, it displayed a damaged logistics network. Thousands of tiny transport icons moved across a web of routes. One gateway blinked red. Cargo convoys immediately began rerouting. Traffic increased elsewhere. Soon, another route became overloaded. Then, another. Within seconds, the entire network slowed. Juno blinked. "It's giving us," Kai answered softly, "a logistics simulation. No combat. No puzzles. No passwords. Only infrastructure." His specialty. The projection expanded. Estimated recovery time. 30 minutes. The timer immediately began counting down. Mason looked confused. "Repair the gateway." Kai shook his head. "Too slow." Commander Hale smiled. "Good." Kai enlarged the surrounding routes. Every convoy automatically chose the shortest available path. Exactly what modern logistics algorithms preferred. Exactly why the network collapsed. He slowly redirected several civilian transports, then delayed 2 mining convoys. Finally, he rerouted emergency medical supplies through a longer but uncongested corridor. The overloaded gateway stabilized. Traffic redistributed. No repairs performed. No gateway rebuilt. The entire network recovered. Estimated recovery time: 4 minutes. But Juno stared. "You didn't fix anything." Kai smiled. "I fixed the flow." The simulation immediately changed. 3 gateways failed simultaneously. This time, one colony began running out of food. Another lacked reactor fuel. A hospital convoy became trapped. Commander Hale quietly laughed. "It's getting harder." Kai wasn't intimidated. He wasn't looking at ships. He was looking at priorities. Fudai, Donshe, Danchonichao, Dateru, Dahai, Fuel. Die. Medicine, population, distance, travel time. Every variable became part of one enormous equation. Several minutes later, the hospital received supplies first. The colony received temporary food support from another settlement. Mining operations paused voluntarily to release transport capacity. No one received everything. Everyone received enough. The simulation stabilized. Architect evaluation. Excellent. Mason looked genuinely impressed. You solved it without maximizing efficiency. Kai nodded. I maximized survival. The hologram shimmered. Another scenario. A pirate ambush. A damaged gateway. Limited escort vessels. Juno smiled. Finally, something exciting. Kai ignored the pirates entirely. Instead, he rerouted civilian traffic hours before the attack. When the pirates arrived, there were almost no targets. Commander Hale burst into laughter. You defeated them before they appeared. Kai shrugged. I avoided the battle. The simulation ended instantly. Architect evaluation. Optimal. Silence filled the bridge. The station wasn't testing intelligence. It was testing philosophy. Connection over conflict. Preparation over reaction. Maintenance over destruction. The same values Horizon embodied. The maintenance nexus suddenly came alive again. Every dormant system resumed activation. Docking clamps extended. Repair cranes rotated toward Horizon. Golden energy surged throughout the megastructure. The Architect repair unit quietly bowed its head. Authorization accepted. The cosmic exchange system appeared. Gateway maintenance, nexus unlocked. First-time synchronization reward available. Kai looked toward the viewport. The station's central chamber slowly opened. Something enormous rested inside. Not a weapon. Not another ship. An engine. At least, it looked like one. A colossal circular machine nearly 5 kilometers across floated inside the heart of the nexus. Thousands of interconnected rings rotated around a brilliant golden core. Mason whispered, That's impossible. The repair drone answered, Gateway calibration engine. Commander Hale frowned. For maintaining gateways? Affirmative. Lyra quietly stepped beside Kai. If this station maintained the ancient network, she looked toward the gigantic machine. Then this is the heart that kept civilization connected. Kai remained silent. The realization carried enormous weight. Civilizations weren't built by armies. They were maintained by infrastructure. The architects had understood that. Then, another warning appeared. Gateway calibration engine. Operational integrity. 7%. The bridge fell silent again. Juno slowly looked toward Mason. Can we repair it? Mason laughed once. Not because it was funny. Because the question itself was absurd. Captain. He pointed toward the colossal mechanism. Our entire ship would fit inside one maintenance section. The repair drone confirmed. Current repair capability. Insufficient. Required resources. Unknown. Time estimate. Unknown. Kai quietly watched the sleeping machine. This wasn't today's problem. It was tomorrow's. Perhaps many tomorrows. The cosmic exchange system updated one final time. Long-term objective added. Restore gateway maintenance nexus. Estimated impact. Galactic. Before anyone could absorb those words, every display aboard Horizon suddenly flashed crimson. Long-range sensors detected hyperspace emergence. One ship. Then another. Then 6 more. Commander Hale immediately enlarged the tactical display. The vessels emerged from conventional hyperspace, not the hidden Architect network. Military signatures. Unknown registry. Unknown allegiance. Formation. Intercept. .2. Mason's expression darkened. They tracked us. Kai slowly looked toward the ancient maintenance nexus. Then toward the approaching fleet. The hidden routes were no longer hidden. Someone had begun hunting anyone who found them. 7 ships. Against one barely repaired ancient vessel. Commander Hale studied the tactical display only once before speaking. We lose. No hesitation. No false optimism. Only experience. Juno slowly exhaled. I appreciate the honesty. Mason folded his arms while watching the approaching formation. They're not rushing. They're surrounding. Kai quietly enlarged the tactical map. The 7 unknown vessels spread apart with almost mathematical precision. 2 moved high. 2 low. 2 widened toward the flanks. The largest remained behind the formation. Commander Hale narrowed his eyes. Professional. .2. Kai nodded. They're controlling exits. Not attacking. Containing. The distinction mattered. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Strategic observation recorded. Enemy. Objective. Interception. Probability. 92%. No recommendation appeared. Kai looked beyond the ships. The gateway maintenance nexus floated silently behind horizon. Its colossal docking rings. Repair platforms. Calibration engine. Everything remained completely exposed. If a battle began here, the ancient infrastructure would become collateral damage. The architects had spent centuries preserving connection. Kai wasn't about to destroy it during his first visit. Commander Hale quietly asked, "What are you thinking?" Kai zoomed farther out. The hidden architect routes. The maintenance nexus. The conventional hyperspace entry point. One detail immediately stood out. The enemy fleet had emerged from normal hyperspace. Not the hidden network. Which meant they're blind. Everyone looked toward him. Juno blinked. Blind? Kai nodded. They found the destination. He highlighted the golden architect routes. They still can't see the roads. Mason slowly understood. They only know where we are. They don't know how we got here. Kai smiled. Exactly. Commander Hale's expression changed. So we still have an advantage. A small one. The lead enemy vessel suddenly transmitted. Not words. An encrypted military authentication request. The bridge computer immediately rejected it. Unknown authority. Authentication failed. A second transmission arrived. This one contained only a single sentence. Surrender Horizon. Juno laughed. No. Commander Hale looked toward Kai. Response? Kai shook his head. No response. Silence often forced opponents to reveal more than words. The fleet advanced another few kilometers. Still outside effective combat range. Still waiting. Kai watched carefully. No weapon charging. No missile locks. No fighter deployment. Again, containment. Non-duo. Not destruction. The lead vessel transmitted once more. We know what you're carrying. Commander Hale quietly muttered. They're bluffing. Kai nodded. And they don't know. If they knew. He pointed toward the station. They would have attacked immediately. The enemy commander wanted confirmation. Which meant they lacked information. The cosmic exchange system. Updated. Information asymmetry detected. Advantage. Temporary. Kai immediately made his decision. Repair unit. .8. The drone turned. Can Horizon access the hidden route immediately? Affirmative. Preparation time. 112 seconds. Commander Hale smiled. So we leave. Kai shook his head. Not yet. Juno looked confused. What are we waiting for? Kai pointed toward the maintenance nexus. The station. Everyone followed his gaze. The enormous gateway maintenance nexus remained partially awakened. Thousands of repair drones floated dormant around it. Gigantic docking arms remained extended. Power continued flowing through the colossal calibration engine. Then Mason understood. If we leave now, they'll study everything. Kai nodded. They'll map it. They'll dismantle it. They'll learn. Connection created civilization. Knowledge protected it. The architects hadn't hidden these places for centuries so the first hostile fleet could catalog them. Kai looked toward the repair drone. Can we close the station? The drone processed the request. Possible. Emergency preservation protocol. Activation requires 68 seconds. Commander Hale laughed quietly. So we're staying. 68 seconds. The bridge became busy immediately. Juno kept Horizon drifting slowly. Mason monitored engine synchronization. Lyra synchronized the rig fragment with the station. The repair drone transmitted ancient authorization codes. Outside, the enemy fleet cautiously advanced. 30 seconds. 40. 50. Then, the lead vessel accelerated. Commander Hale immediately reacted. They've lost patience. 3 ships broke formation. Direct, intercept course. Kai remained calm. They're trying to stop us before we're ready. The station suddenly responded. Across the colossal structure, every golden light shifted to brilliant white. Massive docking arms slowly folded inward. Repair platforms disappeared beneath armored shielding. The immense calibration engine descended into the heart of the station. Entire sections rotated. Locked. Sealed. The megastructure transformed before everyone's eyes. Not into a fortress. Into a vault. The architect repair unit quietly announced. Emergency preservation protocol complete. The service station they had discovered earlier had hidden itself beneath an asteroid. This maintenance nexus did something even more astonishing. The surrounding stars distorted. Light bent. White. Space itself rippled. The gigantic station gradually faded from sight. Not destroyed. Hidden. Darts. Commander Hale whispered, cloaking. The repair drone corrected him. Route concealment. Within seconds, only empty space remained. No station. No calibration engine. Nothing. Nothing. The 7 approaching vessels abruptly stopped. Their sensors swept desperately across the darkness. Confusion spread through their formation. Juno smiled. They lost it. Kai quietly answered. They never really had it. The route fragment glowed warmly. The hidden golden corridor reappeared before Horizon, invisible to everyone else. The repair drone turned toward Kai. Captain, departure corridor open tante. Kai looked one final time toward the empty region of space. The maintenance nexus still existed. Protected once again. He gave a single order. Horizon, take us home. The ancient ship gently accelerated onto the hidden route. From the enemy fleet's perspective, Horizon simply vanished. No hyperspace signature. No warp trail. No engine bloom. One moment, the ship existed. The next, it didn't. Aboard the flagship of the unidentified fleet, an armored officer slowly lowered his datapad. His expression remained hidden behind a dark visor. One subordinate spoke nervously. Sir, the target disappeared. The officer remained silent. Then he calmly issued his first order. Do not pursue. The bridge crew looked confused. He continued. They've already shown us enough. He enlarged a frozen sensor image. Not of Horizon. Of the brief moment when the maintenance nexus had awakened. One ancient architect's symbol remained visible for only a fraction of a second. The officer quietly enlarged it, then smiled beneath his helmet. At last, we've confirmed the first nexus. Far deeper within unexplored space. A second armored figure looked up from an ancient route projection. Unlike the first, this one wore no insignia. Only silence. He watched Horizon's disappearing route for several long moments. Then quietly spoke to himself. So, the successor has finally begun moving. The projection zoomed toward one distant destination. Not the Forgotten Colony. Not the Maintenance Nexus. But another location hidden much deeper inside the Architect network. One name slowly appeared beneath it. The first gateway. When Horizon emerged from the hidden Architect route, the stars looked ordinary again. No golden pathways. No impossible corridors. Only the endless darkness of the frontier. Yet everyone aboard the ship felt different. They had crossed roads that modern civilization no longer knew existed. They had awakened stations older than recorded history. And someone had begun hunting those same roads. The bridge remained unusually quiet. No one celebrated escaping the unknown fleet. Commander Hale finally broke the silence. They'll return. Kai nodded. Yes, they'll also bring more ships. Mason leaned against the engineering console. And now they know Horizon exists. Juno sighed. So much for keeping a low profile. Kai smiled faintly. We lost that option the moment Horizon woke up. No one argued. The ship itself had become impossible to hide. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Primary objective updated. Reach the Forgotten Colony. Progress. 34%. ... New passive effect unlocked. Architect route intuition minor dots. Kai noticed the wording immediately. Not navigation. Intuition. Interesting. The notification disappeared before he could examine it further. The root fragment resting inside his jacket emitted another faint pulse. This time, the warmth felt familiar. Not urgent. Almost comfortable. As if the ancient artifact had accepted Horizon as its home. The Architect repair unit suddenly turned toward Kai. Captain, Maintenance Nexus synchronization produced archived records. Kai immediately looked over. Can we access them? Partially. Memory corruption remains extensive. A holographic archive slowly unfolded across the bridge. Thousands of records. Almost everyone damaged beyond recovery. Most file names were unreadable. Others displayed only fragmented timestamps. Then, one file remained completely intact. Archive classification. Operational doctrine. Commander Hale smiled. That sounds useful. The repair drone opened it. No images appeared. No technical diagrams. Only one simple statement written in ancient architect script. ... The drone translated. The strength of a gateway is measured not by how many pass through it, but by how many return. Silence settled across the bridge. Even Mason quietly nodded. It wasn't about expansion. Lyra smiled softly. It was about home. Kai stored the sentence away. Another piece of the Architect philosophy. Another reminder that logistics was never just transportation. It was people. Juno stretched her arms. Can we access something slightly less philosophical, like repair manuals? The repair drone processed the request. Searching. 3 seconds later. No. Do. Everyone laughed. Even Commander Hale. The tension aboard Horizon eased for the first time in hours. Then, an alert interrupted the moment. Long-range civilian distress signal detected. Distance. 7 light minutes. Source: Didi. Merchant vessel. Status: engine failure. Mason immediately checked the tactical display. Single freighter. Commander Hale narrowed his eyes. Or bait. Kai enlarged the surrounding region. No hyperspace signatures. No hidden contacts. No unusual energy spikes. Only one damaged civilian vessel drifting near an asteroid cluster. Juno quietly asked, "What do you think?" Kai didn't answer immediately. Instead, he examined the location. The asteroid field wasn't particularly dense. There were no obvious ambush positions. More importantly, the damaged freighter drifted directly across a junction connecting 2 ordinary commercial lanes. If left stranded, traffic through the entire region would eventually slow. Cargo delays. Insurance losses. Supply shortages. Small problem. One that would quietly spread. Connection creates civilization. Neglect weakened it. Kai looked toward Commander Hale. We investigate. The veteran commander nodded. Carefully. Horizon altered course. Not directly toward the freighter. Instead, Kai plotted a wide interception arc, keeping multiple escape routes available, maintaining sensor coverage, never approaching from a blind angle. Commander Hale smiled approvingly. You really do think like a route analyst. Kai quietly answered. Because pirates think like route analysts too. 20 minutes later, the damaged merchant vessel finally came into view. A modest civilian cargo ship, scarred by age. One engine completely dark. Emergency beacons flashed weakly across its hull. Several crew members floated outside in repair suits, attempting emergency maintenance. No hidden weapons. No concealed escorts. No trap. Aye. Mason exhaled. They're actually stranded. Kai nodded. Looks that way. The communication channel opened automatically. An exhausted, middle-aged man's voice filled the bridge. Unknown vessel, if you're hearing this, please tell me you have spare reactor coolant. Juno smiled. I like him already. Mason laughed. That's the most honest distress call I've ever heard. Kai activated communications. This is Horizon. We can assist. Several seconds of silence followed. Then the man's voice nearly cracked with relief. I don't know who you people are, but you've just saved our month. The repair drone quietly interrupted. Captain, recommend assistance. Reason. Civilian Logistics Preservation aligns with Architect Operational Doctrine. Commander Hale looked amused. The ship approves. Kai smiled. So do I. Horizon slowly maneuvered alongside the damaged freighter. Repair drones departed the docking bay. Mason personally supervised coolant transfer. Juno helped stabilize the drifting vessel using precise thruster control. Lyra coordinated replacement parts. For nearly 2 hours, no battles were fought. No mysteries uncovered. No ancient ruins awakened. Only ordinary people helping other ordinary people. When the merchant engines finally restarted, cheers erupted from the civilian crew. The merchant captain contacted Horizon one final time. I can't pay you much, but Frontier people remember kindness. He transmitted a small encrypted contact list. Independent merchants. Time, fuel, stations, repair docks. Trusted Frontier navigators. Not money. Relationships. The cosmic exchange system appeared once more. Architect principle confirmed. Connections strengthened. Network reputation increased. Passive effect. Civilian trust. Minor toward all. Commander Hale quietly laughed. The galaxy just rewarded you. For being decent. Kai looked toward the departing merchant ship. No, it rewarded us. For keeping the network alive. The freighter disappeared into the stars. Horizon resumed its own journey. None of them noticed that the merchant captain had quietly transmitted a message to dozens of independent Frontier channels. The message contained only one sentence. If you ever see an old white ship called Horizon, help them. They'll help you first. Days later, the message reached smugglers, miners, salvagers, independent captains, Frontier settlements, people ignored by empires, people who remembered favors longer than laws. Far away, inside a luxurious corporate office overlooking the glittering core worlds, a young executive quietly read a completely different report. Project Observer. Status update. Target vessel Horizon confirmed. Ancient infrastructure activation confirmed. Multiple hidden architect facilities verified. Probability of recovering pre-collapse navigation technology increasing. The executive calmly closed the report. Then looked toward the endless stars beyond the station-sized window. Continue observation. Do not interfere. Not yet. He smiled faintly. The game has only just begun. Somewhere even deeper within the forgotten network, a dormant gateway emitted a single pulse. One ancient light that had remained dark for centuries quietly came alive. The frontier remembered. Kai did not know it yet. But long before Horizon reached its next destination, stories about an old white ship had already begun traveling farther than any official broadcast. Not through government relays. Not through military intelligence. Through merchants. Miners. Independent haulers. Salvage crews. The people who actually kept civilization moving. Every stop along the frontier added another sentence. They repaired our engines. They asked for nothing. They knew routes nobody else did. They saved a convoy. They protected civilians. Rumors spread faster than freighters. Reputation spread faster than rumors. Inside Horizon, however, life remained surprisingly ordinary. Mason crawled halfway inside an engine compartment, covered in grease. I swear this ship hates modern tools. The architect repair unit answered without looking up. Incorrect. It merely disapproves. Juno burst into laughter. I like this robot more every day. Commander Hale looked over several Fundung tactical reports while Lyra reorganized the newly recovered architect archives. Kai remained at the navigation table. Not because there was immediate danger. Because he had finally begun understanding something that had bothered him ever since Horizon awakened. The hidden routes never formed random patterns. Every junction, every service station, every maintenance nexus, everything existed for a reason. He slowly overlaid modern trade lanes onto the fragmented architect network. Only 10% of the ancient routes had been restored. Yet, nearly 60% of modern frontier trade naturally followed the same corridors. Nobody remembered the original roads. Civilization had unconsciously rebuilt itself above their foundations. Kai quietly smiled. Interesting. Commander Hale looked up. You found another pattern. Kai enlarged the projection. The architects didn't just build efficient routes. They discovered them. He highlighted dozens of gravitational currents. Natural stellar drift. Stable hyperspace geometry. Dark matter channels. The network wasn't forcing space to cooperate. It followed space. Lyra slowly nodded. They listened. Kai looked toward her. Exactly. That single realization changed how he viewed the entire civilization. The architects had never conquered the galaxy. They had understood it. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Insight recorded. Architect navigation philosophy. Additional synchronization. Plus 1%. Current recognition. 11%. Juno stretched comfortably in the pilot's chair. So all this studying earned us 1%. Kai smiled. Every map begins with one line. A soft notification interrupted the discussion. Incoming transmission. Origin. Vera Frontier Trade. Association 2. Commander Hale raised an eyebrow. We're popular. Kai accepted the call. A weathered elderly woman appeared on the main display. She wore simple merchant clothing, rather than expensive executive attire. Her smile carried the confidence of someone who had negotiated cargo prices for decades. So, you're Horizon. Kai nodded politely. I am Kai. I've heard. She smiled wider. My name is Vera. I represent several independent trade cooperatives. Juno quietly whispered, That sounds important. Commander Hale whispered back, It is. Vera folded her hands. I won't waste your time. We've received over 30 independent reports about your crew. Mason blinked. 30. We move around a lot. She laughed softly. Exactly. Her expression gradually became serious. The Anor? Design Padune. Frontier has a problem. Kai listened without interrupting. 3 supply routes have become unreliable. Insurance companies raise prices. Large corporations abandon the smaller colonies. Independent merchants can no longer maintain regular deliveries. She transmitted a regional trade map. Several settlements immediately caught Kai's attention. Small populations. Limited infrastructure. No military protection. One failed route, away from economic collapse. Commander Hale quietly muttered, "The frontier always bleeds first." Vera continued, "We aren't asking for charity. We're asking for knowledge." Kai looked toward the map. "Tao, nu, demsi, intizadriki. What exactly do you need? Find better routes. Not escorts. Not weapons. Not money. Routes. D. Wanya. Routes?" Kai almost smiled. That was a request he understood. The architect repair unit suddenly spoke. "Civilian logistics optimization aligns with primary operational philosophy." Juno laughed. "The ship is volunteering us again." Kai looked toward Commander Hale. "What do you think?" The veteran commander studied the map for several moments, then quietly answered, "This isn't one problem. It's 20 small ones." Kai nodded. "And 20 small problems become one large collapse. Connection creates civilization. Broken connections destroyed it." He accepted the data package. "We'll investigate." Vera bowed her head slightly. "Then, you've already helped more people than you know." The transmission ended. Silence returned to the bridge. Mason looked toward Kai Dia. "So, we're becoming delivery consultants now?" Kai shook his head. "No. We're learning." Commander Hale smiled. "Learning what? What keeps civilizations alive?" Hours later, the newly received trade data integrated with Horizon's growing route archive. Unexpected correlations immediately appeared. Several struggling merchant routes intersected suspiciously close to hidden architect pathways. Not directly. Almost. Close enough to make Kai pause. He enlarged the projection. The forgotten colony. Gateway maintenance. Nexus. The struggling trade routes. The abandoned service station. One by one, invisible lines began connecting. Not ancient lines. Modern ones. Commander Hale quietly walked beside him. "You think they're related?" Kai slowly nodded. "I don't know how yet, but nothing this consistent happens by accident." Before either man could continue, the bridge lights dimmed. Not from power loss. From external illumination. An enormous shadow drifted across Horizon. Juno immediately turned toward the viewport. "What in the—" Everyone looked outside. A gigantic mobile refinery slowly crossed their path. Nearly 20 kilometers long. Hundreds of industrial engines glowed along its spine. Massive asteroid processing arms rotated continuously around its hull. Thousands of worker lights flickered across its surface like a moving city. The identification signal finally appeared. Nomad Industrial Convoy, 7 Tartar. Commander Hale's expression immediately changed. "I've heard of them." Mason whistled. "I thought they were a myth." The refinery continued moving silently through space. Slow, steady, purposeful. Then, a distress beacon erupted from somewhere deep inside the colossal convoy. Not one. Dozens. Emergency alerts flooded Horizon sensors simultaneously. Internal reactor instability. Section collapses. Multiple casualty reports. The mobile city was dying, and there wasn't another rescue vessel within several light hours. The distress signals multiplied. Not one reactor warning. Not one engineering failure. 37 independent emergency alerts erupted across the immense industrial convoy. Entire habitation blocks requested evacuation. Mining control centers reported power loss. Cargo elevators froze between decks. Emergency medical channels became saturated with calls for assistance. The mobile refinery had not suffered one catastrophic failure. It was suffering hundreds of connected failures. Commander Hale immediately enlarged the structural schematic transmitted by the convoy. "That's—" He stopped, then quietly finished. "A logistics disaster." Kai was already studying the map. On. The convoy stretched almost 20 kilometers from bow to stern. Ore, processing, refineries, manufacturing sectors, residential districts, agricultural modules. Repair docks, power distribution. Everything connected through a central infrastructure spine. One damaged section affected another, then another, until the entire city slowed. Connection creates civilization. Broken connections created collapse. The captain of the industrial convoy finally appeared on the main display. An elderly woman with silver hair tied behind her head. Her heavy work uniform carried decades of welding burns and repaired tears. Unlike admirals, she looked like someone who had built things with her own hands. "I am Captain Helena." She didn't waste a second. "Our primary coolant circulation has fractured. Our backup systems activated correctly, but they overloaded neighboring distribution nodes." She transmitted another schematic. Red indicators spread throughout the convoy. "It isn't one failure anymore. It's cascading." Mason immediately nodded. "That makes sense." Commander Hale looked toward him. "You understand this? It's like Horizon. The systems aren't broken. Individually, they're fighting each other." Kai enlarged the infrastructure map. Thousands of maintenance tunnels. Hundreds of energy junctions. Dozens of independent reactor loops. No single point of catastrophic damage. Just one terrible chain reaction. Helena continued. "If we cannot stabilize circulation within 90 minutes?" She looked briefly away from the camera. "We abandon the city." Silence filled Horizon's bridge. City? That was exactly what this convoy had become. Over 200,000 workers, families, children, mechanics, engineers, merchants, an entire civilization drifting through space. The cosmic exchange system quietly appeared. Civilian infrastructure crisis detected. Recommended objective: prevent cascade failure. Kai immediately noticed something unusual. There was no combat warning. No survival bonus. No rare artifact reward. Only one line. Connection preserved. Reward unknown. He almost smiled. The system understood the value of infrastructure. Just like the architects. Commander Hale quietly asked, "Can we actually help?" Kai didn't answer immediately. Instead, he requested complete engineering telemetry. Pressure. Flow rates. Heat transfer. Power allocation. Transportation schedules. Maintenance assignments. Mason blinked. "Captain, why are you requesting worker schedules?" Kai calmly answered, "Because repairs require people. People require movement. Movement follows logistics." The convoy captain transmitted everything without hesitation. Several enormous holographic projections expanded across Horizon's bridge. Even Mason looked overwhelmed. There are millions of variables. Kai slowly zoomed farther out. He ignored individual machines. Ignored individual failures. Instead, he looked at movement. Maintenance teams repeatedly crossed the same damaged corridor. Emergency supplies traveled unnecessarily long routes. Repair drones waited for authorization while engineers waited for equipment. Everyone was working. No one was coordinated. Commander Hale suddenly smiled. "You found it." Kai nodded. "They're solving engineering problems." He pointed toward the larger map. "When they should be solving traffic." Juno laughed. "I swear, you see roads where everyone else sees machines." Kai began issuing recommendations. Not orders. Suggestions. Redirect repair teams through eastern maintenance shafts. Suspend non-essential ore processing. Convert civilian tram lines into emergency logistics corridors. Prioritize coolant transport over replacement components. Temporarily isolate 3 refinery districts to preserve circulation elsewhere. Helena stared silently at every recommendation. None involved repairing the damaged reactor directly. Finally, she asked, You believe this will stabilize the network? Kai answered honestly. I believe it'll buy your engineers time. She looked at the map one final time, then nodded. Implement everything. Across the colossal industrial convoy. Traffic changed. Repair teams stopped interfering with one another. Emergency supplies began flowing smoothly. Elevators became dedicated logistics channels. Cargo drones switched from ore transport to coolant delivery. Within 15 minutes, the cascades slowed. 37 emergency alerts became 22. Then 14. Then 6. Mason watched the live telemetry in disbelief. The reactor's still damaged. Kai nodded. It will be. But now, only the reactor is damaged. Commander Hale quietly laughed. You separated the problem. Kai looked toward the projection. Exactly. When everything becomes an emergency, nothing gets repaired. Helena returned to the screen nearly 40 minutes later. This time, she smiled. Not because everything had been saved. Because it could be. Our engineers have reached the rupture. The cascade has stopped. She removed her cap. A gesture of genuine respect. I've commanded industrial convoys for 41 years. I've met brilliant engineers, exceptional admirals, genius economists. She looked directly at Kai. I've never met someone who repaired a city without touching a wrench. The bridge aboard Horizon became unusually quiet. Even Mason couldn't argue. The cosmic exchange system appeared. Objective complete. Civilian infrastructure preserved. Reward granted. Architect reputation increased. Network influence expanded. Passive trait acquired. Infrastructure insight. Additional synchronization, plus 2%. .com. Current recognition, 13%. Then, another notification appeared. Unexpected reward. Nomad Industrial Convoy 7 has become a trusted network partner. Commander Hale slowly smiled. That sounds useful. Helena nodded before the system even faded. It is. She transmitted another encrypted package. Industrial supply routes. Fuel reserves. Repair facilities. Independent manufacturing contacts. Hundreds of frontier logistics agreements. We don't have powerful fleets. We don't have politicians. But if Horizon ever requires repairs, she smiled proudly. Half the frontier will answer. Connection created civilization. Kai finally understood. Power did not always come from warships. Sometimes, it came from the people willing to keep the lights on. As Horizon slowly departed the immense industrial convoy, thousands of workers gathered along observation decks overlooking space. No speeches. No ceremonies. Only simple waves. Children pressed their hands against transparent alloy windows. Mechanics raised welding torches in salute. Freighter captains sounded their horns one after another. The convoy's lights blinked 3 times in perfect synchronization. A frontier tradition. Thank you. Juno quietly watched the fading city disappear into the stars. I think, she smiled softly, we just made a lot of friends. Far away, on the bridge of the unidentified fleet's flagship, the armored officer silently reviewed a growing report. Vera Station, merchant cooperatives, independent navigators, Nomad Industrial Convoy, 7 Tarto. Every new entry carried the same notation. Positive relationship with Horizon. The officer slowly closed the report. His voice remained calm. This is becoming troublesome. One subordinate asked, shall we eliminate the supporters? The officer looked toward the endless frontier, then slowly shook his head. No. The more they help Horizon, the larger the network becomes. He paused. And the larger the network becomes, the harder it will be to destroy. For the first time, a hint of concern entered his voice.